Hello, I'm Eleanor Leslie, and my contemporary artist that I'm going to talk about is Judy Chicago. Judy Chicago was born in Chicago, Illinois, in July of 1939. She received a Bachelor's of Art from the University of California in 1962, and in 1964 she released New York's Master's of Arts from the same college. Um, a lot of her work focuses on women, gender, and the feminist view, as well as some of her work focusing on her identity as a Jewish person. Um, yes. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the dinner party because this is her most famous work and the work that she's most well known for. And this work consists of the names of 1,038 women. Uh, 39 of those are actual place settings, and the other 999 are on the tiles in between the tables. As you can see here, they would be in this area. Um, and the different sides of the table were organized into three separate categories, being the prehistory to Roman Empire, women that fall in that category, women that fall into the category of before Christianity and between the from before Christianity to the Reformation, and then the forming Americas to the Women Revolution. And there are 13 women per area per side, and they all go chronologically. Each place setting has a plate, a fork, a spoon, and a knife, as well as a chalice. Everything but the central plate is made of porcelain. Well, the plates are also made of porcelain, but the accoutrements are made of porcelain that are glazed with gold and pearlescent glazes so that they all tie together. Each plate is unique to the woman it represents, as well as the table runner that it's on. All the plates depict either yonic symbols, butterflies, or flowers, many things invoking femininity. There is one that is a piano, and I feel like it doesn't work as well with the entire group as some of the other ones. The women that are focused on in this project are women in history that uh, Judy Chicago and her team felt like were erased or forgotten in history. So when they were deciding what women to put onto this table, they went with three criteria. One being made a significant mark on history, important contribution to women, like they helped better women's conditions, and a vital aspect of women history. So they went through so many names and broke it down into the three categories that we have, which the prehistory, the before Christianity, and Americas to the Women's Revolution. And another thing that I like about the dinner party is that every woman, because not just Judy Chicago, this is a whole team of people who were mostly women that worked on the plates, the table runners, and the tiles, as well as the tables themselves. Every woman that worked on that project, or everyone that worked on that project, is listed and is also visible in this exhibit. So the dinner party makes me think, um, were the criteria too harsh, lenient, or exactly right? Some of the women I was unfamiliar with and had to look them up, and did realize that they were very fitting there. But I want you to think about that and what do you think? Do you think these conditions are too harsh, or should they be even harsher? Should there be less people at the table? My favorite piece from the dinner party would be Natalie Barney. Um, and she was a poet, and her place setting is a lot darker than, especially as you can see in this picture here, darker than the two next to it, but darker, a lot darker than most of the pieces here. And the whole plate itself is mainly dark with pearlescent shine to it and gold that ties in with the chalice and the uh, the gold on the table markings and the tiles with the names on the floor. I really like how this table runner itself is non-uniform and the edges of it conform to the butterfly wing motif. And it's a little hard to tell in the image, but the wings are made of like a mesh or a tulle that is lined with black beads. So it is very sparkly and shiny. And in the right lighting, you can see all the colors that are present here. The other thing about this one that I like was something I did a little research into. The plate itself is a lily, which was Natalie Barney's favorite flower, as well as a symbol for one of her lovers, and the symbol that she later took as her own. And the other thing I wanted to point out is you can see there's little cuts and slits into the table runner itself. That is so that the plates and the chalice and the napkin can be affixed to the table so they do not fall over. Judy Chicago has a lot of other works too that she has done over her, I think it's 6 decades of work that she has created. And over that time, she has worked with a large variety of media, as you can see in the top picture, which is Butterfly from Brooklyn, which is a pyrotechnics display. And over her 6 decades of working, she took on things that were considered like harder skills, like she did metalworking, auto body work, as well as working with pyrotechnics and dry ice, which she incorporates all of these into her work. And then another work I want to look at is the bottom one here, which is a piece from her birth project, which focused on gender, menstruation, and birth, as well as masculinity's role in the forming of gender stereotypes. And so all of these works have very graphic descriptions of childbirth or menstruation or just the vagina in particular. And this work was also another group work she did with a large group of people. It is a combination of, I believe, spray paint or paint of some sort with embroidery. So it is on like fabrics and textiles, and it is a very unique mix of things. And then the final thing I want to talk about is her forming of the Woman House, which is the first feminist art program. And I believe that was formed in the 1970s, if I remember correctly. And she formed this as and taught there for a while to help create more feminist artists. And here are my citations. And here are my photo citations. Thank you.